learn, right? Now, learning works best if you have some questions. So, before we start with anything else, does anybody want to ask some questions? Okay, 问，我是英文的问题比较好。Do you have any questions about something you've seen recently in English? English words that you don't understand, or sounds that are hard to say? Grammar questions that you need help with? 如果有发音的问题，还是字的问题，还是文法的问题，都可以 ，right? So. Go ahead, yes. That's not usually the kind of question I mean, but that's okay. You may leave early. It's okay, yeah. That's okay with me, yeah. But do you have other questions that you could ask though about what we can do in class today? If you don't have any questions, then that means either you don't care and you don't want to learn anyways, so you're not going to ask. Or it means you don't know where to start. Maybe you have a lot of questions, but there are too many questions and you don't know which one you should ask first. So, whenever there are problems like that, the best thing to do is to make the question smaller. There's a lot of things about language we could ask. So if we can take language and put it into small pieces, then maybe we can get better questions. So, all language is based on sound. We make sounds and we put our sounds into words. Every word is one idea. This is true for English, for Chinese, for every other language. When we talk about the ideas that are in our head, each idea is shown with a word. Now, the problem is words are not enough. We need to put our words together in order to share more information. If I just say black, me, write, pen, then you don't know how those words go together. What's black? Is the pen black? Am I black? Right? So, when you have words and we want to put them together to make sentences, we need to show the relationships between the words. And for that we use grammar. That's all grammar is. It's relationships. So, if I put black in front of pen, then you know that the pen is black, right? That's how language works. We need these relationships, so that means that grammar isn't just a list of rules. It's not it's not 100 rules. It's a system of relationships. How do these words work together? And then if we can ask about those relationships, then we can understand more about how the language works. But because all language has the same parts, every language has sounds and words and sentences, there's a lot that we can learn about language in our own language. For me to learn Chinese grammar is really hard if I don't understand English grammar. So 你们都会中文，对不对？你们都了解中文的文法吗？真的了解吗？ Right? If you don't understand Chinese grammar, then how will you understand English grammar? Or Japanese, or German, or whatever, right? You need to start by understanding how your language works. So, based on these ideas, is there anything you want to ask about first? Or, if you like, I can just start at the beginning. You got this story many times, but I can just start at the beginning and we can go through all of the different problems. If I try to share with you all of those things, we'll be here until Sunday. So, I can't share everything today. But, I don't know what you're interested in. So, if you can tell me what you'd like to learn about, then maybe what I share with you today will be more interesting for you. Right? 如果都是我要教你们的题目，有很大的可能你们觉得是很无聊的。所以如果你们可以问，比较好。So, can you think of anything you'd like to start with? Are there problems with learning English for you? And what do you think are the biggest problems? Okay. Every country has a different culture, yeah. So you'd like to ask about...
Where are you from?
Okay. So to start from. Yeah, okay. I'm from Canada. And our culture is very similar, very like European culture. Because in Canada, a lot of the people there, they are still like the people in their home countries. Have you guys ever heard about the difference between Canada and America? Basically, if you take a whole bunch of different kinds of metal, you have gold, you have aluminum, you have steel, right? You have different metals, 不同的铁, right? Metal. And you put it in a big pot and you melt it, right? It's all going to look the same, right? Afterwards, you can't really tell which part is gold, which part is iron. You can't tell. It just all becomes the same thing, right? That's kind of what American culture is like, because for them, when Italians leave Italy and go to the States, they become American. They're not Italians, they're Americans. They're from Italy. Italy 来的美国人, right? But in Canada, what we usually have is people are still what they were in their own country. It's like if you make a salad. You guys like salad? Salad's good for you. You know, you have tomato, you have carrot, you have, I know in Taiwan they like corn in salad, right? You have all the different things, you mix it together, but the tomato is still a tomato, right? It might be mixed together, but it's still a tomato. So in Canada, the Italian people in Canada are Italians. They're Italians in Canada. That's all. So for our culture, we don't really have one culture for our country. My mother is from Germany, so I have some German culture. My father is French Canadian. 你们都知道加拿大有两个语言, right? You know, Canada has two languages.